Hello and welcome to Dove Eyes with Chinwe Kalu. It's good to be here and it's good to know that you're out there with us. Thanks for joining us. Infidelity is a scourge that is hitting families, especially families of faith in these times. And I have seen infidelity do all kinds of things to families. I've seen strong, vibrant women become weak, sad, depressed people. I've seen strong families be destroyed by this awful scourge. I've seen children become fatherless practically because of this scourge. I've seen families become war zones because a third party was introduced into the family. I've seen two families become arch enemies because a son and a daughter just couldn't make it work because there was infidelity in the picture. And so infidelity has become a real scourge in our society. Now, marriage is God's idea, and what God had in mind was between a man and a woman. Now, the kind of things that we see these days are really a function of the fallen nature of man. And so when you see a third party being introduced into a relationship, what it does is distort the plan that God had in the first place. And so instead of the original foundation of love and trust to be laid, you are relaying the foundation with all kinds of evil that have been unleashed into your family. And so distrust, hatred, unforgiveness, and all kinds of things become the bane of that family, which is why the issue of infidelity must be discussed. Is it possible for you to even begin to deal with this kind of thing as if it hits your family? Now, today's show is really about how to cope with it if it does hit. So perhaps you're out there and you have been hit with this scourge. Today, we're going to be learning a couple of things about how to deal with it. Now, what is the first thing to do when you discover that your spouse has been unfaithful to you? The first thing is to remain calm. I'm sure you're thinking, is that really possible? Yes, it is. You can remain calm. What does this do for you? It helps you to gather your wits together and your thoughts together. It helps you to, being calm gets you to that place where you can breathe in and count 1 to 100 and just take it easy. Because the truth is, yes, it looks like the world has come to an end in your life, but the world really hasn't come to an end. This is a situation that has arisen in your life, and it's just a matter of time. Something will give concerning it. And so you need to be calm concerning it. You need to be able to stop and think, okay, and that's what calmness does for you. If you're not able to do that, what happens? You lash out in pain. You lash out in anger. You lash out in disappointment. You must get is the fact that the enemy has shown up. It's not, your spouse has done wrong, yes, but it's the enemy showing up in your home. He has come to steal, to kill, and destroy. And when you have that perspective, you tend to be careful as to how you attack your spouse. Now, your spouse has done wrong, but really it is engendered by the fact that the enemy has come home. And you need to have that perspective fully before you take any actions concerning it. So the first thing to do is remain calm. Another thing that it does is that it enables you to talk. When you now raise the issue with your spouse, you raise it in a calm manner. You're not screaming and yelling and accusing. You're just raising an issue that needs to be addressed. It unnerves the other party. It takes away the defense mechanism that other person would have come up with if you threw accusations at them, because you are talking calmly. I just gathered that you are seeing someone else as against, you this stupid man, how can you ever, the difference is clear. What happens is that you take away the sail, from his own boat so that he's not able to lash back at you because you're not screaming and yelling. You're just talking calmly, okay? Then at this point, what happens is that you also have the opportunity to try to talk to one another rather than fight one another because of this issue that has arisen. So calmness is very key to success and managing this situation well, and to the results that you even get ultimately. Because if a spouse is trying to be defensive or trying to fight with you, what happens? Things could degenerate. What you really want is your husband or your wife back rather than you falling apart entirely because there's a third party. So to get that, calmness is key. It keeps everybody, at some level of sanity so that you can actually resolve and discuss the issue. Now, the response you get is what determines what you do next. Some spouses are lucky. You raise the issue, your spouse just goes on his knees or her knees and says, honey, I'm so sorry. I don't know how I got into this, but I promise to work with you to get out of it. that gives you a good place to start where you can easily, just kiss and make up and walk away and, get back into your normal relationship. The real challenge is when you raise it with your spouse and your spouse is unapologetic about what is going on. How do you manage a spouse who is being unfaithful and is not even sorry about it? That one is a tough one. That is where a lot of people find pain and the journey is difficult because you have a spouse who is carrying on and refuses to do anything about it. That is where the challenge really lies. Now, what do you do when you find that your spouse is like that? The first thing to do is ask yourself a couple of questions. Is this marriage really worth all the effort? Do you want to keep the marriage? Is it important to you, how this marriage turns out? You have to ask yourself those questions. Do you want to walk away? Because really, when a third party is introduced in a marriage, even the word of God says you can walk away. You can decide on the grounds of adultery, I don't want this anymore. And you are within your rights. Or do you want to fight for what belongs to you? Because what has happened is, like I said earlier, is that the enemy has come home. He has come into your home to kill, to steal, and destroy. So you have to make that choice. Do I want to walk this path? Do I want to do this at all? Do I want to save this marriage? Do I want to do anything? Because what it means is that you're taking responsibility for the successful restoration of your family. What do you want to do? You have to be able to answer that question clearly. The reason you have to answer it clearly is because, when you start a journey, every journey has challenges. And so if you want to work it out, it's a journey. And you're going to have to face up to the challenges that will come up as you're taking that journey. So ask yourself the question, what do I want? Do I want to resolve this? Can I trust God to solve this for me? Can I work with God to walk through the situation? Can I manage myself to get past here? Do I even want to go on this journey at all? Those are questions you need to answer. And once you answer them, and if your answer is yes to all of them, then you are starting a season, a new walk with God that's going to do a lot of things in your life. Now, what does this walk look like? It's a lot of praying and being with God. It's actually about building intimacy with God and working with God through a challenge that only He can see you through. It involves lots of prayers, lots of being with God, lots of clarifying with God. It means you have taken responsibility for working this out. And it means that you and God have to work closely. Short of getting an instruction for the next move every time, that's what will have to happen if you are ready to walk this walk. It's a tough place, but it's a good place. Why? Because you are working with God. God will see you through each step of the way. Will it be easy? I doubt it, because your spouse is not going to behave. Trust me. Your spouse is going to push you. He's going to do things that will hurt you, will do things that are going to, put you under pressure just to see how far they can go with you. And so you will have to really, truly hold God's hand, because He's the only one that will help you get past here. There'll be it will be a daily, forgiving every day, because He's going to come up with all kinds of things, or she's going to come up with all kinds of things. They're just not going to behave themselves because they want to put you under enough pressure to spoil everything. Remember that he or she's on the defensive and they're not in their normal state of being. The enemy, this person needs your help. You are not just, marriage is also about helping people through bad times, through problems, through issues. And so if it was ill or she was ill, you'll be there. Just think of it as one of those times when you have a protracted illness and you have to be there for your spouse. It's tough, but it's possible. Why is it possible? Because you're working with God and He will show you how to go each step of the way. You wake up every morning and you hold His hand and He takes you another, further into your journey. At the end of the day, you will not feel. Why? Because you are working with God. But it will be a tough journey. It will be a tough walk. It will be tough of constant loving, constant forgiving, constant, ignoring things that would normally, hurt you or embarrass you or put you in a tight spot. You will enter into the Word with God and He will give you wisdom and counsel for every day. At the end of the day, you will come out with hope. You'll be able to live your life again. With time, forgiveness will come and you will, the pain God will take. God has a way of taking pain and He will take your pain. What you just need to do is hold on, walk closely, and just keep walking. Take every day one step at a time, and you will ultimately get to your destination. At some point in the whole journey, you might need to go for counseling. You will need some other person to talk to. They always tell us that when you get married, it's between you and your husband, between you and your wife. Don't take anything outside your home. That is not correct. we have to adjust that advice and say to you that you need to talk to somebody, because you shouldn't go through that kind of journey alone by yourself. So get a third party, someone that you can trust, someone who's not in it. It cannot be your relative or his relative. It cannot be your relative or your spouse's relative. It has to be a neutral third party who believes the same thing that you do, and let them pray along with you and walk along with you as you are going along. You don't want to go this journey alone. You need someone to go it with you. So get a third party to go along with you, and they will help you, walk with you, support you as you get past here. It's not a place you should be alone at all. At the end of the day, you will come out with a good report. The word of God says that by faith, the elders obtained a good report. That will be your story. You will come out with a story of working with God and getting past, a bad place. What I have found is that when a spouse has been naughty, and has been really naughty and eventually comes through, what happens? He's a far better, or she's a far better spouse afterwards than she was even before she started or he started. So you will get, what's that word? Reward for your effort, and you will get to that place where all the years, all the time that was lost, no matter how long it was, will be made up to you. You will ultimately come out with your victory in your hands, because nobody walks with God and comes out empty-handed. It doesn't happen that way. But a lot of the time, we're too scared to walk with God, and we use weapons that don't help. We shout, we scream, we complain, we abuse, we do everything but walk with God. And at the end of the day, He's the one who brought us into marriage. Marriage is His idea, so He knows exactly what to do. And you might be perplexed and think that life has come to an end, but He can see exactly what to do to make it right. And so God will take you through and bring you to the place where you have victory at the end of it, and you will have your spouse back. The only prayer that you will pray along the line is that we don't have any lasting scars from that experience. Okay, for instance, if your spouse comes back with a child from a third-party relationship, that becomes something you have to live with. But even that, God can help you with. And so what you need to do is hold on, stay with it, and get to the other end of the journey. At the end of the journey, you will smile, you'll be glad that you did, and it will have been worth the entire trouble. Trust me. Now, for the spouse who is the guilty party, I just want you to know that you are wrong. The choice you have made is a very poor choice. What you have done is invited the enemy into your home to destroy your home. It's not just going to affect you and your spouse, it's also going to affect your children if they are children. Children are traumatized by these kind of things, and it leaves a wide gap in your lives. There's no good in it. In fact, the word of God says that it turns you into a piece of bread when you get into such things. And so you need to understand that you're in sin, you have done wrong, you have erred in every sense of the word. You have erred against your wife or your husband, you've erred against your children, and above all, you've erred against God. You've hurt God. And so you need to get yourself together and get out of that place. Is it easy to get out of such places? No, because, it's a fun place, a place where you're enjoying yourself. So it's not easy. But with God, you can get out. You're not just thinking about yourself, you're thinking about your whole posterity, your generations unborn, your entire posterity, all the things that you have worked so hard to create. There's just nothing to it. At the end of the day, you just look back in 10, 20 years' time and you wonder what happened. You will see that it constantly leaves a bad taste in your mouth. And so you need to understand that you are erring and that you're hurting everybody that matters to you. Your spouse, your children, your families, everything can spoil simply because of this. Now, there is a covenant that you have entered to with your wife, and that covenant has place for only two people, you and your spouse. There's no room for a third person. So when you bring a third person in, what happens is that you make your covenant, it can no longer give you the blessing that it's supposed to give you. And so you find out that you are wasting away, you're no longer able to be the perfect person you're supposed to be, especially if you're a person of faith. You're no longer able to really harness yourself and be the best that you can be. And so there's no plus. It's all minus, no plus. So can you please get your act together? Now you should confess it as sin to God and ask your spouse to forgive you. Because at the end of the day, this person has been living with your, bad behavior for a number of years. It might be a year, it might be 2 years, for some time. And so you need to ask everybody involved to forgive you. Your spouse, your children, your families. Ask everybody, and above all, ask for God's forgiveness, and He will forgive you and give you another chance to make it up to your family. So you're not just asking for forgiveness, you're also making the effort to make it up to your family because you have hurt them badly. That is the least you can do. And do it now, don't wait. This is the time to do it right in. So infidelity is one of the worst things that can hit a family. I mean, there's nothing worse, really. It doesn't get what's worse than that. Once that comes, it's like that family. If a family gets financial issues, maybe a spouse loses, the head of the family loses their job and they no longer have money, they can somehow cohese. If ill health comes, they can somehow still hold together. But when infidelity comes, it just messes everything up. It's a scourge and it's a horrible, horrible monster. When it visits, it tends to just destroy. And so you ask yourself again and again, can I get out of here? Yes, you can, but only with God. Without God, it just becomes a mess, really. It's very difficult for someone who's gotten into that place to pull himself or herself out. It becomes repetitive and becomes a problem. And so what you always need to do is work with God. Now, his style is different. His weapons are different. The word of God says that they are mighty through God to pull down strongholds. And infidelity is a stronghold. So if you work with God, throw yourself into him, allow him to take charge and help you, you will get the results you desire. But if you try to do it on your own, you will lose your family. And even if you don't end up in the courts of divorce, you will never have the pleasure that you had at some time in your family. And so you need to just let it be and let him take control of the situation to get you out. At the end of the day, you will get the results you desire simply because you worked with him. So my counsel in summary to the person whose spouse is carrying on and is not being faithful is to remain calm and walk with God. It's really that simple. Now, someone will tell you, that is just such a simple thing to do. How can that work? It works. Just try it. If you are there right now and you take hold with him from today, you will see the difference. You'll be able to be calm, you will stay healthy, you will not die of depression, you will not have sickness and disease attacking your body because you are sad. You will be on top of your game. You will be in control, and that is what you need. The enemy likes to throw us around so that we are running around like people who don't know what they want or who don't know who they are. You have to know who you are and stand for what you believe. And standing in faith, is it easy? No. But it's where you get the results. So I want to encourage you. Stand with God, walk with God, and you can get past this place. Let us know how your spouse eventually is restored to you at the end of the day, because he or she will be restored. It's just a matter of time. Okay? Thank you so much for joining us. It's been Dove with Chinwe. I've had a great time being here today. I hope you have too. I'm sure that there's someone out there who needed to hear who needs to hear what we're saying, and who needs the counsel as to how to deal with the spouse who's, gone AWOL. Try what we have said, and I'm sure you get results. Don't forget my book, Dove is my journey to finding purpose. It's a book that will help you in terms of building yourself and building your walk with God. Even in this whole, infidelity work, it will help you walk with him. Also, all you need to do is put a call in 080-3201-2458 to order your copy, and we'll get a copy across to you. Also, our daily devotionals, all you need to do is text DOVE Dove to 700 if you're on the MTN network, and we'll get these devotionals across to you on your phone every day. You'll be able to get encouragement and get, motivation for life on a daily basis. Something that will give you the verb you need for the life that day, and it will bless you. Okay, we are on all the social media pages: Facebook, Dove with Chinwe Kalu. We're on Twitter at Chinwe Dove. We're on Instagram, Chinwe Dove, and we have an amazing website where you can get all kinds of resources. Dove with chinwekalu.org.ng. You can send me an email, ck@dovewithchinwekalu.org.ng. You can call me if you have a situation of infidelity and you want to talk about it, 080-3201-2458. Let's talk about it, and you'll be blessed for it, okay? It's been nice being here. I hope we have made sense, and that, you can do some of the things that we've talked about. Do them, and you get the results you want. Thanks so much for being there. I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.